Let's see here. Control?
Nope, gonna have to review that one later on.
Alright. What about that remake of Modern Warfare you wanted to play?
Skipping it. Modern Warfare 3 is where my interest stopped, and a remake won't make me go back.
Okay. Oh, are we skipping Sword and Shield?
Yeah, we're gonna wait until next year's Ultra version equivalent, which should come with fixes for a lot of the original game's issues.
Like the inclusion of Lucario.
Final
one on the list you sent, Bloodstained.
Every second I'm not at work, then not asleep is spent playing this game.
You must like it a lot.
No, it's just another game I can check off my backlog.
Alright, that settles it up then. We can get started on...
James and Andy's review of all the games we played in the second half of the year.
Shorter name is needed for that. Anyway, hi everyone, we just finished getting everything set up for this video. Be sure to stick around afterwards for our very own Game Awards for 2019. Alright, quick review of the rules. These games are presented in no specific order. We only include games that have come out and we have played between July and when this video releases that we haven't already done separate reviews for, and only games we played at least 4 hours of. We've decided that's the threshold for forming a solid opinion on some of these games. Alright, rules reviewed, reminders reminded, let's get started with...
A Knight's Quest, a game that desperately needed more time before coming out and costing me hours of my time and $25. This game tries so hard to be Legend of Zelda Wind Waker it forgets to be anything but a glitchy mess.
Yeah, this game has some glaring technical and gameplay issues and tries to cram too many mechanics into what could have been such a simple and fun game. You have Collectathon, matched with a Wind Waker type, and it doesn't work. Also, the very first enemies you run into take 9 hits to defeat.
The first enemies in games should never take more than 3 hits unless you're so proud of your creation that you need your audience to take forever defeating it. If that's the case, don't make it a first enemy. Make it a boss. 9 hits is way too many. Also, while attacking, you may just randomly T-pose.
Yeah, A Knight's Quest is a very, very broken game that needed at least another 8 months in the oven before deciding to try to be a full-fledged game. Besides being another game that we added to our probably never gonna touch again pile, it just proved emphatically that the eShop desperately needs a refund system. We'll even take store credit, anything so we don't have to have any trace of any data from certain games on our Switches.
Talking to you, Brawlout! Alright, I got my yearly dig in Brawlout in, we can move on.
I didn't think it was possible to create a terrible port of what should have been a very fun addition to the Switch's game library, but here we are. Yeah, it's Castle Crashers, and yeah, it's fun to play in small bursts, but what's changed in 13 years? A few extra skins to wear, a minigame or two, also the
save files! Why do you have to save separate players' data to separate profiles on your Nintendo Switch? Other games have had you save all players' data on a single profile, such as Warriors games, Smash Bros, Ultimate Alliance 3, the list goes on. It seems like it was more complicated to create a system where multiple profiles were needed.
Also, why did you wait to tell your customers about this issue until a full 24 hours after your game came out? Many players were probably scratching their heads wondering why their siblings and friends' data didn't save during their first run of this new port. Why did you wait a full day before telling everyone to press Y on the character select to have players 2 through 4 select profiles? That seems like a day one thing, an hour one thing.
Even if you didn't prepare a second one post to tell your fanbase about this issue, why not just put a button prompt on the character select screen? Just press Y to select profiles and then a text box to explain why. Would it really have been that hard to include that? As far as the game itself, it's still Castle Crashers. It hasn't changed in 13 years and probably never will. It's the Skyrim of indie games, and we'll be playing it on our iToilets in 2030 when Apple designs a game system you can play by pissing and shitting. Next game.
After 6 years of patiently waiting and bouncing between the demo and other games that couldn't stand up to Cube World's majesty, it finally released. Cube World is finally available to play with your friends on Steam, and it's everything the demo promised and more. But for some reason, the people who got the alpha 6 years ago are very upset that they got a new, free game 6 years later.
Cube World does not deserve the flack it's getting for being what it is. While I 100% dislike the leveling system and the fact it's directly tied to the region you're in, and the second you step out of that region you're level 1 again with level 1 stats, I understand why it was done. I get why it was designed this way. However, this is an incredibly intuitive and intelligent idea that keeps the adventure fresh as you move to different regions. And let's face it, no one on planet Earth could design a game with the scope and magnitude that Cube World has.
One where the challenge will just keep climbing to the sky and the world will forever expand beneath your feet and will continue to afford you treasures worthy of your constantly leveling self. Instead, Cube World created a system that presents each region as a new adventure, a new test of your skills, and a new set of things to do. Plus, you could easily find enough things to reach level 99 in each region. They're pretty friggin' big, guys.
Cube World is an incredibly expansive, expansive game with a love for creation, for games, and for a world that will always surprise you, woven into each and every cube. This is a game that will wow you every second you play it and will make you smile from ear to ear with each interaction, each side quest, and each monster that you defeat. And the leveling system may frustrate you, but it's a bump in the road on your adventure, and there's a lot of adventure to be had. This game is lovely and fun in every single sense of these words, 100% a game that everyone should play.
On paper, a board game playing as a turn-based RPG doesn't sound like it would work out too well, but after playing Dicey Dungeons, I've reconsidered. I want more board games to be made into RPG experiences. Go Fish is pretty boring, but what if a game was made where you had to stop an evil warlord only using Go Fish? It's a very Pokemon way of doing things where the game dictates the world no matter how evil the villain is.
They may be vile people through and through, but they abide by an honorable code dictated by the wins and losses of a single children's game. In Dicey Dungeons' case, it's dice rolls. Use dice to attack, activate abilities, and protect yourself. It's an impeccably fun game when you have the right dice and are playing as the warrior. There are 5 other characters to play as, but my luck with dice is always terrible, making the specific rolls I need to activate their abilities much harder to get. But it is still a very good game, and I think it'll be hard for Terry Kavanagh to top this game and for Chip Zell to top this rockin' soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack is really dinning good in this game. We found a new favorite composer in Chip Zell, and we're sure you'll find a new favorite dice roll game in Dicey Dungeons. In fact, James, for the rest of the video, let's play some Chip Zell music.
Woo!
Ah, that's really good. Alright, our next game is...
Having a distinct lack of rhythm, I avoided this game after playing for about 5 minutes. Way too difficult for me.
Unlike wusses like James, I just played in no beat mode, which is an option I really wish was advertised in the trailers and reviews. Anyway, this game is very fun to play, and in no beat mode, there's no pressure to move according to the song. You can stand on one spot and plan your next 10 steps to avoid projectiles, attack enemies, and press switches. There's a great deal of replayability too. While I feel no need to jump back in a second time after enjoying the first, Zelda and Necrodancer fans alike will enjoy playing the game again and again, with or without rhythm.
Maybe I'll give it another chance while we wait for Animal Crossing to come out, because I sense a lull in game releases coming up. That aside, let's move on to...
You played this?
For about 30 minutes, until I got to the point where the f***ing stamina bar was introduced and microtransactions became the recommended form for filling it after each level.
So it's fair to say this is another crummy mobile game that uses predatory practices that we should warn people against playing or letting children near.
It's also very, very boring. I know Dr. Mario games aren't all that interesting, but I've never played one and I expected a little more than just this. All of what Andy said, but also it's boring. We can move on now. This is a game that will delight and fascinate you for the length of the demo, about 10 hours. It was an experience you rarely find on the Nintendo Switch with all these grand adventure RPGs trying to out-adventure each other. Dragon Quest XI is something different in that it offers all of this exploration, all of this area to discover for yourself, and your own pace to go at it and attack enemies and move through the story. You get the first 10 hours of the game all to you, and you get to move about it how you want to. Then it stops.
After the bountiful experience that the demo provided us, the game kicks in, and it swiftly begins to repeat itself, bore players, and exist in a space where the story doesn't care about character development anymore. It forces characters to have conversations with themselves because the hero is a silent protagonist, which... why? His kid self, which you meet, has a voice, but you don't. Why? It makes any character who pairs with him have to have complete expository conversations with themselves, and it's really boring and uninteresting.
Also, Veronica. She's a personality that's just too big for this game, and it's very unflattering to hear her speak anything at all. I'm glad she eventually shuts the hell up. Dragon Quest goes on for about 20 hours longer than it needs to, and will rip plot holes in itself just to explain the logic it just skipped and the questions it won't answer.
After Act 2 ends, the game has you meander around the whole world for nonsensical reasons that make the first 2 acts pointless. It's trying to set up this grand final battle, we get it, but at this point we don't care. Just let us fight the bad guy and end the game. Pick this up if you're looking for an 80-hour game to play between releases. Oh, and get it on sale. Enjoy the first 10 hours, then sigh heavily through the next 70. Alright, next game. I'm not sure what's going on here, or if James is winning or losing, but there's a lot of visual stuff going on, so it's fun to look at, and that's half the charm of Fight Crab, I assume. The game is absolutely ludicrous, completely bonkers, and will have you laughing the whole time you're playing.
Fight Crab is absolutely one of the most whimsical games I've ever played and has hours of replayability to it. Level up your crab, give it different weapons to fight with and f***ing throw, challenge a friend, or better yet, team up with a friend and take down enemy crabs.
It is one of the most confusing, but funniest games I've ever seen and played, and absolutely deserves more recognition than it got this year. Check out Fight Crab on PC now, or wait until the Switch release. No one knows exactly when it's coming to Switch, but look forward to it.
Alright, I'm bored. How long does it take to get to any of the good stuff in this game?
Let me look it up real fast. Dinning Nehru! 10 hours!
That's such a long time to not give a shit about any of my students, though. I know this is supposed to be one of the best games of the year, but I'm so fucking bored. I'm not interested in the confusing story. I'm not interested in gameplay that will kill me for making one mistake. And I'm only a little interested in listening to Ben Diskin speak to me more as Lorenz. I don't like Lorenz, but I enjoy his voice.
Yeah, this game really failed to draw us in, even in the short amount of time we played it. It feels like it's dragging itself out while giving you the checklist of things to do between fights. Check on every student, eat lunch with every student, train every student. Yeah, I know, you don't have to, but if you don't, then you have weak students. And who does that help, really? Playing favorites will only give you a weak army, and I'm not about that.
Yeah, this game is not for us. We hope many of you enjoyed it, but damn is it boring! This is an action platformer about a space pilot who crashes into a space station when his cat acts like a cat and knocks the controls a bit. That's why you always travel with your pet strapped in or in a cage somewhere. The pilot is unable to move and employs his cat to find a way to help him and get off the space station. And how else will this transpire? With a mech suit, of course.
Hop inside this mech suit and explore this Castlevania map, collect color palettes, and improve your suit incrementally with missile power-ups and special attacks. Then figure out what the heck is up with this stupid rat character.
Turns out he crashed your ship into the space station and he wants the pilot's body so he can transfer his mind into the pilot. The rat is actually an evil character who transferred his mind into the rat and was waiting for a human. He found one and now he's not letting go.
The gameplay is fun, except for many portions where you're traveling without your mech suit and everything is a one-hit kill, and that one underwater boss. But the story feels very Damon Lindelof in that there are no coincidences, and time is a line, you will follow it no matter what you do. We were fine with a cat in a mech suit, just let us marvel at that and the level design. We didn't need the evil rat. Oh well, it's another fun Devolver Digital game. Check it out when you have the chance.
Oh, this got a mobile version? Cool. Andy, looks like you have a contender for your game of the year.
You'd be wrong. The game is still great, but it was not meant for and will never be meant for a mobile market. The controls completely ruin an otherwise immaculate game and will destroy most fans' integrity in any updates this game may get or may have gotten. I will never play it on mobile again. On other systems, without question, but never again on mobile.
Sounds definitive. Alright, we'll move on then.
Another game that needed at least another 6 months of incubation before dropping to the public, but works way better than A Knight's Quest for what that's worth. While there are still a plethora of technical and graphical issues that plague the gameplay, the intention and the heart are still there.
This is an incredibly confusing game with a story that makes very little sense, but I gotta say, I would buy a graphic novel featuring the pages you collect in this game in a heartbeat. The art style used in those in the animated movies in the game is really good. Easy on the eyes, not too hard to follow, and you can tell there was a lot of love put into it.
It's also evident throughout the game that it's an allegory for some sort of tragedy, although what exactly that tragedy is still unclear. It has something to do with a sibling. I think it's the one you end up chasing throughout these dreamscapes with 1 or 2 puzzles and the single-hit kill enemies that seem really unfair. They're the only enemies in the game, and they kill you as soon as they touch you.
Either way, Incredible Mandy is a fine game with a lot of technical issues, a great art style in its collectible comic pages and animations, and some admittedly fun bosses. Check it out once the developers release some patches and fixes to the game.
Look at how Nehru-dinning adorable everything is! Look at how furor-dinning pleasant everything is! Look at how Hylia-dinning beautiful it all is! Anybody who complained about edge blurring and pop-in in this game can eat the most ripped part of the jeans I've been wearing for 7 years, because this game is absolutely gorgeous! Yeah, it's a remake, but holy Rivali! Look at how glorious it all is. Everything in this game was crafted with the original in mind and a love for the Zelda series.
Yeah, this may be the best remake/port of a Zelda game we've ever gotten, with its updated graphics, its original Zelda game feel, and just the pure amount of amassed joy you feel while playing it. There's no blade of grass, no Octorok, no boss that lets you down in this game.
I've never played the original Link's Awakening, and I'm really glad we played this version because this is the best experience you can get from a top-down Zelda game. Yes, better than Link Between Worlds and Spirit Tracks.
Ooh. Our only complaint about the game is, just like in the very first Legend of Zelda game, you have to have a guide to tell you where to go next. We're definitely used to the modern way Zelda games have worked, where your next destination is clearly said and or hinted at. I'm sure you will all knock us for needing a guide, but sometimes you need one, okay? Some clues are harder to pick up than others. Alright, on to our next game.
Next level games should make the next Mario Party game. They have mastered the Luigi's Mansion series after helming the second and third installments. They created Punch-Out Wii, which showed us the full potential of motion controls on the Wii more than Skyward Sword ever will. They mastered and improved the game of football, I believe it's pronounced, with the Mario Strikers series. Yeah, Federation Force was an absolute garbage fire, but for a company that hit 3 bullseyes, they can afford to miss the dartboard completely and accidentally hit someone with the dart.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is another foray into the hysterical adventures Luigi has every time he's invited to a mysterious mansion. By now they should be vetting these letters to make sure every invitation isn't to some dark, crazy house, or a map leading to some shitty card-based adventure. Color splash.
Next level knocks it out of the park with this epic walk back through the creepy halls of another strange, multi-floored building. Gather ghosts, spatter booze, collect gems, and rescue your friends with a friend when you give player 2 control of Gooigi, this game's power-up that will only show up once and never again.
For a character with no emotions who is made of goo, Gooigi has oodles of personality, and while his use throughout the game will be incredibly challenging for the single player, having to switch between full-body Luigi and Gooigi, the two-player experience with this is absolutely hypnotizing. You will not be able to put this game down if you're playing alongside a trusted friend or younger brother. Explore together, collect gems together, make funny faces together. This game is a must-buy. We recommend it wholeheartedly. Another Nintendo property they added microtransactions to. Guys, just release a single purchase game we can play on our phone. Seriously, if you make a good mobile game without these predatory practices, it'll restore a lot of faith back into your fan base when it comes to your mobile market. Or sure, keep injecting the shit into your other properties you own. Can't wait until the Zelda mobile game. Woo!
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is bad. Not horrible, not awful, just bad. The only reason any of us thought it was any good was because we were still coasting on the hype of Endgame having come out the April before. I doubt it would have done as well had it released during the 10-year window before Endgame.
It's also a game where you absolutely 100% need another competent human player on your team because of these fucking stupid doors and boxes that require certain combined attacks to break their barriers. You'll need to combine different characters' abilities to get through, and it slows the game down, is shitty, and really should have been removed from the game.
It lacks the thrill and fun of most dungeon crawlers due to the repetitive nature of the gameplay. It lacks any hook to get us involved due to the horribly campy writing of most of its characters, and it's just boring. Also, the camera is absolute garbage. Just one of the worst cameras in video gaming ever. I don't think anyone could fix something that broken. It is the worst thing you'll deal with throughout the game, and may, in some cases, ruin the whole experience for you. It's a very basic game that will entertain you for about 2 hours at a time. Get it on sale if you crave more Marvel until they release their next movie in May of 2020. Alright, let's keep going.
Quick side note, we're very surprised no one has memed the hell out of this moment right here.
What have you done, boy?
Alright, we can move on now. This is a fine game. I've waited years to play it, and while the story was definitely not on par with what I wanted the game to give me, the controls worked well and getting stylish kills was fun too. It's a fine game, no real complaints besides the overcomplicated story, but you can get over that when you realize what the game truly is.
A high score simulator, or a speedrunning goldmine. It helps the game stay in circulation, but numbs the value of the experience for those who had been waiting for years for the game to finally come out.
Other than that, no real complaints. It's a fine game. Pick up this other Devolver Digital game when you have a free hour, then speedrun it when you're done.
Our bodies weren't ready.
Mine is barely ready to get up in the morning. Then you hand me this high-intensity workout-based game and expect me to just do all this stuff?
Nintendo has truly created a strong case for us to start actually getting active, huh?
That. What they've really done is create an intuitive way to have fun with this challenging game while also helping you build muscle.
Muscle?
Yes, Andy. I have actual muscles now. That is what this game has done to me.
They truly have created something amazing if it can get even the laziest of fans up and moving. Other than completely destroying us and making us hurt in the mornings, Ring Fit is actually fun to play. The story is very minor and stays out of the way, so the Ring Fit controller can truly execute its many uses. Press it, pull it, leg press it, bow pull it, and use it in yoga poses. There are many motions to collect and use against your enemies in different ways. We definitely recommend picking this one up and giving it a shot. It's a lot of fun, while also being good for your heart.
I really like this game. The variety of moves you can pull off, all the asses you get to kick, and the cooperative play were real hooks for me. The only bits I didn't like were the friendly fire, which there should be an option to turn off, the floor is lava level, and that one reflective needle boss. Besides that, River City Girls is another typical way forward game. Really fun, hard to pull yourself away from, eye-catching art style, and solid controls.
It's exactly what we expect from Way Forward at this point, and will definitely hold fans of side-scrolling beat-em-ups until they finally release Shantae and the Seven Sirens on something other than Apple's stupid subscription service! Hopefully, we hear something soon about a release in the new year. I want to start my year off right with a new Shantae game. Oh, anyway, yeah, it's good. And playing with a friend really helps the game flow better, so the single player doesn't have to handle so many enemies. Pick this one up for you and a friend when you get the chance. This was another good game we played this year. It was a good prelude to the eventual release of Cube World and really hypes up Minecraft Dungeons. Other than that, Riverbond is good, fun, and incredibly adorable.
It amounts to another high score / speedrun simulator that dampens the experience for the casual gamer, but the experience we got was well worth it. I got to play as a strip of bacon, or a watermelon, or a f***ing donut. That makes me very happy.
We haven't played the new content added as of releasing this video, but I expect we'll get to it as soon as we can. And if you're looking for the Switch version of this game, it recently came out on Nintendo Switch that includes the new content, so check it out and start off your year right with Riverbond. What happens when a dog steals a wizard's magical cane? Apparently it takes over the world. You wouldn't think a dog would have such a sinister agenda, but here we are.
This top-down adventure game is very colorful and very fun to play. You can even play with up to 4 people. Smash things, eat things, fight things, then fight each other in the various versus modes you can play. It's a great experience that will have you chuckling warmly throughout your entire time playing.
But why are things evil? If the dog took over the world, why would anything be evil? Dogs are the happiest things on the planet. Why would they make anything evil?
Honestly, I have no idea, but we should probably move on before we break our brains in half trying to figure it out. I avoided this game as much as I possibly could. I am not interested in another series of fan-created hellholes that ruin my experience of the game and make me hate humanity more than I already do because I couldn't kick a shell under me in a specific instance so I could jump over a spike trap I couldn't see while a womp falls from a distance far from where the camera is allowed to see. I consider all of that to be bullshit. Andy, your thoughts?
The game is fine. The level maker has improved very slightly, but the 2-player maker is almost unworkable and actively removes options, which makes playing together less rewarding than just making it yourself. We never played online with anyone because it is always terrible and will always be terrible. Oh, and level discovery is as flawed as it always was in the first game. The only advantage the sequel had over the prequel is the single-player experience. I didn't have to go online and hope I didn't get a level that instantly killed me upon setting foot on the stage. There were many pre-made levels available to play to get the coins I needed to rebuild the castle. It was actually fun. Mario Maker 2 is okay. Not great, not bad, just okay. And now Link is in it. That ends my thoughts. Next game.
I had thought we heard the last of this game when it released years ago, right around the time when we started streaming on Twitch, but here I am reviewing it again. It's still pretty fun too. The best part is I'm older and better at video games. Damn it.
You sure about that, buddy?
No, but one thing is for sure, the energy ring is still my favorite weapon. It's incredibly powerful, has infinite ammo, and makes one of my favorite sounds in all of gaming.
That's not a special sound effect, though.
The point isn't to be special, it's to indicate that it hit. The critical strike from my Ring of Doom connected did significant damage, and that sound is a badge of honor for me. It's just a fun sound in a fun game that is very difficult if you don't have the right weapons.
And we're not even sure what those weapons are, but we do know what game is next. We have finally arrived at what may be one of the best games of this year. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. What do you get when you mix an awful story, characters that commit heinous acts of villainy but are never punished for it, and the best version of the Tales of battle system ever? This game.
Cringe as you are dragged through a story that creates more and more convenient problems and solutions just to propel what it thinks is character development. Smile coyly as you realize that the sexual tension between Flynn and Yuri is probably the best part of the story. And almost punch a hole right through your television or Switch screen every time Sodia is on screen and quickly declares herself as the absolute worst character in all of Tales of lore.
Also rejoice in the fact that Rita is another lovely mage character with powerful spells, worthwhile abilities, and probably the absolute best incantation for spells ever. She's done with you and has no time for an actual incantation. She'll blah 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 her way through a meteor storm cast and pelt you with flaming balls of rock before you can even realize what's going on. Sweet Nehru, I love it.
Yeah, we can't say enough good things about the battle system in this game and all the attacks you can learn and use. And the Coliseum in this game was grand as well. You'll have to fight to care about the story, but the actual fighting in this game is impeccable. We sincerely hope that Tales of Arise takes some notes from this game's battle system and stays far away from the stun-based battle system of Berseria. We will see though when it hopefully comes out in 2020.
This isn't so much a game as it is a tech demo for the Switch. It came out a few years late, but it acts like a tech demo with its unfocused gameplay, perfect for showing off different mechanics the Switch can handle. The gyroscope for showing the Switch well, has one, the controls to get you used to them because you do nothing complicated in this game, and the fact that it's an incomplete game.
And if you don't see it as a tech demo, see it as a grocery list made into a video game. You have a goal, complete a list of tasks on each island. These tasks include a shitty pull-up minigame, a shitty soccer ball kicking minigame, getting ungodly high scores in shitty rip-off games, and taking pictures of things. It never feels like you're playing the game. It always feels like you have very little freedom and gotta do a thing to get a thing so you can do another thing. Not so much a puzzle game, just a list of tasks you gotta do.
Yeah, it could have used more direction, more time, and more creativity, but it was an okay experience with an okay art style and a very okay ending. Next game.
I like Justin Roiland, I do. I think he's a funny guy. I think he has the potential to be one of the greatest creators of our generation. Anyone who creates a show like Rick and Morty and heads his own game company has to be somewhat creative, right? There's just one thing I want Justin to do.
Does it involve him closing his word hole for more than 30 seconds while you're trying to focus on doing any single task in this game?
Just shut the f up! Shut up! Shut the f up! Oh my god! I'm trying to solve one of those stupid press the f***ing button to change the f***ing color puzzles and he's just going on and on about trying to solve it. Then the door just opens without needing to solve the puzzle and he's still f***ing going. Then what the f*** was the point of the f***ing puzzle if the f***ing door just opened?
Trover is a game told from the perspective of the lazy dummy sitting in a chair controlling Trover, and it feels like an extra step arbitrarily put in to make the camera feel like the player character. It was definitely done so the VR experience could be more immersive, but to the non-VR player it just feels like an extra stipulation for controlling the camera. It would have been much more enjoyable if we just controlled Trover. Why the hat on a hat? Just let me wear the first hat. I have no need for the second one.
All in all, it's a fine game with fine controls, some pretty poor camera controls, and way too much Justin. I was okay with it at first, but that got old after the second or third world. It brings the game to life a little, but oh my god, shut up! This is another game we have trouble recommending because of all the graphical and technical glitches riddled throughout it. We even waited for the Switch release to get a patch to hopefully avoid some of them, but wow, there are a lot. From falling right through the terrain to getting stuck in walls and floors to random crashes, this game is just full of issues.
Also, it looks like butt.
Yeah, it's not a very flattering game to look at, and a great deal of the time your attacks, be them magical or weapon-based, will fail to activate and not show effects but will still consume MP as if they did go off. It's a very, very hard pill to swallow, but I did because I crave this type of gaming experience. In today's age of games where if you stub your toe you have to start all over with f***ing nothing, it was nice to play a game that employed the use of save points instead of shrugging its shoulders and saying, just get good son, which is a very, very, very stupid stance on these games. Use f***ing save points, it's not hard.
I was never a fan of Castlevania games, and this non-Castlevania game making the leap to a 3D space really doesn't look like it panned out too well. It's better than other Kickstarter reboots of game series, but it still looks like butt, and still has many technical issues. Even so, I'd say the issues it has and the nostalgia are about equal in this experience. If you play it, expect issues. If you don't want to, you aren't missing much. Hopefully the upcoming co-op mode updates will patch some things, but we'll see. Hold on a minute. This was listed on our January through June review mo. Why isn't it here?
I delayed this review because I really wanted to like this game. I gave it time to improve and give me a mode that removed those f***ing demon blocks. God, those are the worst addition to the game since Veronica and Dragon Quest XI.
But what changed? Did they add a mode that removed the demon blocks that didn't get ungodly fast, but still allowed you to earn the coins needed to unlock different characters and hookshot items?
Exactly that. I feel more comfortable talking about this game now that it's not garbage focusing on garbage online tournaments that pit you in garbage matches against garbage people. I can finally turn off the demon blocks in a mode where I can earn regular game rewards. The game itself is very Wario's Woods in that you stack things of similar colors together to make them go away. Here you stack chests of similar colors, then grab keys of a matching color to make the chests disappear. It's a very fun, very easy, very chilled out game. Specifically when you're not worrying about those fucking demon blocks.
Multiplayer is pretty fun too. You know, as soon as you turn off those stupid demon blocks.
Have we expressed our hate for them enough yet?
Wow, that was a lot of games. I had no idea the second half of the year was so full of releases.
We bounced around a lot because a great deal of them were okay, and we just wanted to get away from them or we just lost interest.
That makes sense. Now then, let's get to our Game Awards. James and I will each be giving out our own versions of best, worst, and okayest games of the year. After that, we will give out some awards that we can agree on, like we did last year. This year's awards are
The Put 'em in Smash Award, given to the character that we think would do the best in a Smash Brothers game.
the Be Patient Award. This one goes out to the game that would be worth your time as long as you've got the time to spare to wait until it actually gets good.
The Best Game Mechanic Award. This one goes out to a tidbit of a game that really wowed us and more games should incorporate into their game.
And finally, the Worst Game Mechanic Award, which goes to a piece of a game that really should be cut off and placed on a slowly burning ship as it sails out to sea.
And you must be wondering which games are up for awards this year. Here they all are. A Knight's Quest,
Almost there.
Ape Out,
Apex Legends,
Blaster Master 02,
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night on Nintendo Switch,
Cadence of Hyrule, the rest of the title,
Castle Crashers on Nintendo Switch,
Cube World,
Dangerous Driving,
Dicey Dungeons,
Dr. Mario World,
Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition,
Fight Crab,
Fire Emblem Three Houses,
Gato Roboto,
Hyper Light Drifter on mobile,
Incredible Mandy, Jack Quest,
Kingdom Hearts 3,
Katana Zero, Lapis Labyrinth,
Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening,
Luigi's Mansion 3,
Mario Kart Tour,
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3,
Mowin' and Throwin',
My Friend Pedro,
Nano Golf,
Piku Niku,
Power Rangers Battle for the Grid on Nintendo Switch,
Remilore, Lost Girl in the Lands of Lore,
Ring Fit Adventure,
River City Girls on Nintendo Switch,
Riverbond,
Super Cane Magic Zero,
Super Kirby Clash,
Super Mario Maker 2,
Super Mutant Alien Assault on Nintendo Switch,
Super Phantom Cat on Nintendo Switch,
Swords of Ditto on Nintendo Switch,
Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition on Nintendo Switch,
The Tourist,
Treasure Stack,
Trover Saves the Universe,
Wargroove, Yoshi's Crafted World,
and Y2K, a postmodern piece of crap. RPG. Starting from the very bottom, Andy and I will award our Worst Game of the Year awards. This is a game that will stand the test of time as one of the biggest wastes of time that you could find yourself doing. A game that we don't recommend in any sense of the word. Don't get it on sale, don't play the copy you found sitting on the ground outside your workplace, and don't accept a free copy from a friend. Just ignore it. And, ironically, Andy and I have the same Worst Game of the Year. How weird we actually agree on this one.
Kingdom Hearts 3. This abuse of your time that came out 13 years after its hype window had been bolted shut will never ever live up to the expectations of its fanbase and will only serve as a basis for what not to do when you have a multi-game storyline. It will rip your belief system apart with the story that makes 100% no sense by bringing back characters that were supposedly dead. It will bore you to tears as it rehashes the entire story of Kingdom Hearts over and over again. This is a game that's not even fit to sit on a shelf with the rest of our PS4 games. It sits on a shelf all its own, next to the other games we dislike so much. They are the platform on which all bad games are judged. Do not buy this game. It will get our Worst Game Ever award, but I'm sure there are worse ones out there. For now, Worst Game of the Year is what it will get, and even that is too good for it.
Next up is our Okayest Game of the Year award. This is given to the game that is an equivalent to taking a short walk down a flat sidewalk with nothing spectacular happening. You don't feel much as you walk or play through this game. It was there, you remember playing it, but it didn't leave an impact on you. It existed and that was enough. My Okayest Game of the Year award goes to... I'm gonna have to give it to a few games actually. This year was filled with so many okay games that it makes it really hard to pick just one. So my Okayest Game of the Year award will go to Incredible Mandy, Remilore, The Tourist, Gato Roboto, and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Each of these games presented themselves in a unique and interesting way, but ultimately never capitalized on what made them so different and ended up being an average experience that I'll remember as just being fine enough to complete, but nothing to write home about.
My Okayest Game of the Year goes to Cadence of Hyrule because I can actually make a decision. This is one of those games that surprised everyone when it was revealed because Nintendo doesn't usually offer up their characters to indie games. So you can imagine my excitement when this was revealed, specifically as an avid Zelda fan. Overjoyed and not knowing what to expect, I charged valiantly into this game to get a very lukewarm experience. The game was okay. I played the whole thing in no beat mode, which is something the trailers and reviews would have really benefited from mentioning, but never did. Why? Why hide such a helpful mode from those who would prefer it? Seems dumb. Anyway, it's an okay game with fun graphics, good music, and has hours of replayability. It's nothing that will rock your socks off, but it'll be an experience you will remember as that one time Nintendo let Link into a rhythm game.
Before we reveal our best games of the year, we have 4 different awards to present. As we listed before, they are the Put It in Smash Award, the Be Patient Award, the Best Game Mechanic Award, and the Worst Game Mechanic Award. To start off, Andy will present the Put It in Smash Award.
Put 'em in Smash, the statement that every single person on the internet says anytime any name of any character pops up anywhere. Oh, Robert Downey Jr. is returning to voice Iron Man in Disney's What If series? Put him in Smash! What? Broly got a new voice actor? Put him in Smash. I bought a pepperoni pizza? Put him in Smash. No character, item, or letter is safe. But which character from the games we played this year do we think would do well in Smash Brothers? Rita Mordio from Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Her character was fantastic, her personality is abrasive, and she has a wealth of moves born from just whipping her scarf around. Her specials could be different spells. She could have a floating ability similar to Peach and Daisy, and her final smash could be any of her Mystic Arts. You're all clamoring for Lloyd to make it in as a Tales of rep. Well, how about this? Rita Mordio. She's strong, she's powerful, she kicks major butt, and she's got a whole bunch of costumes to pick from for her Smash alternate colors. Rita is awesome, and she'll kick major butt in the ring. Blah blah blah!
Up next, we have the Be Patient Award. You gotta play it for a while for it to get good, but if you wait long enough, your patience will be rewarded. This award goes out to Cube World. Cube World is a game about exploration, adventure, and finding artifacts that power you up as long as you stay in the region. It got a lot of flack for this design choice, but it was one of the most intelligent design choices in all of gaming. Why does it get this award though? Because you have to be patient. If you wait and get stronger, you can get better loot, take on bigger challenges, not die instantly to the ogres walking around the place, and find better artifacts. The regions in this game are fucking gigantic, so there's no shortage of adventure to be had. Just be patient, start small, then move on to bigger things. Trust us, we know what we're talking about. We have over 20 hours in this game.
I get to give out the Best Game Mechanic Award? How familiar. References aside, let's give this thing away to regular save points. Yeah, this is not a new mechanic, but many games over the last few years seem to have forgotten how save points work. You see, when you save a game and then die, you should start from that last save point with the inventory you had at that save point. Games today will take half your cash, all your weapons, materials. They'll punish you because you died, and that's just not right. Don't punish the player for playing your game. Give them a chance to learn and start from where they were. Bloodstained, amazingly, got this right, and more games should take note of these kinds of save points. Don't take half of my cash because I died, and don't start me over from the beginning. Let me just quietly go back to where I was so I can sulk, strategize, and try again.
The Worst Game Mechanic Award is a special one. It goes to a specifically bad piece of a game, or many games, that really should be cut from the future of gaming. Something that we should all, as gamers, let alone human beings, see as a problem if we don't already. And if you watched our Game Awards last year, you know exactly what mechanic we're giving this year's award to. In-game currency that can't be earned easily, and loot boxes. Because in case you forgot from last year, loot boxes are shit. These currencies still artificially restrict content behind a wall that casual players can't overcome, still favor those willing and able to purchase those things beyond the wall over the casual player, and are still ridiculous. We're still trying to prove why these things are stupid, predatory, and ridiculous? Seriously? Why? Why are companies still set on restricting content between those who pay and those who play? Hopefully 2020 will see less games as a service releases, but that's not likely with Overwatch 2 on the horizon. Ugh. Also, fuck loot boxes.
Next up, and on a more positive note, we have our best games of the year. The game that without a doubt was the embodiment of great game development. It used everything it had to full effect and is on display for all to see. My Game of the Year award goes to Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. This may seem like a contradictory statement due to our review of it, but hear me out. Yeah, the story is about as interesting as watching our cat sleep. Sometimes she rolls around and twitches a bit and you'll be like, "Aw, that was cute," but for the most part, it's a sleeping animal that will do almost nothing while you watch it. But what really got me was the battle system. It is simply the best that the Tales of series has ever offered, and I'm kind of mad that they didn't just stop here instead of developing the awful systems from Grace's F onward. Tales of Arise seriously needs to take a look at what Vesperia accomplished in battle and take a lot of notes, because I will not stand for another stun-based battle system like Berseria. It will not happen, and is not worth my time. If you still question my decision, look at the games that came out this year. There were no releases that were gonna wow us like they did last year. This year in gaming was a year of, you gotta look past these portions to see the greatness in this game. And I'm okay with that, because I found the best of it in Vesperia Definitive Edition, and I hope you guys did too.
Damn, that was pretty savage. Oh well. My Game of the Year award goes to Luigi's Mansion 3. This is simply the best Luigi's Mansion game there is, and it will constantly satisfy and surprise you with the use of its older and newer mechanics. The first two games focused on the use of the vacuum, and Next Level Games knew that just wasn't enough for the third entry in the series, so they went above and beyond in developing Gooigi. This new mechanic can be completely handed to a second player to provide some of the most unique, asymmetrical, cooperative play in the history of gaming. Gooigi has a great deal of abilities that differentiate him from Luigi and really help him become his own unique character. From being able to walk through cage bars to being able to slip in pipes and grates, Guigi will be more of an asset than a crutch to a competent second player behind the wheel. Honestly, I would not be surprised or mad if Guigi began showing up in Mario Kart and Mario Party games as another character. Maybe they'll replace Metal Mario, or God forbid my dreams come true, Pink Gold Peach with him. Hopefully they do, because I think we all need more Guigi in our lives.
I think that's the first time ever our best, worst, or okayest games went to the same game. Kinda surprising if you ask me.
And deserves some sort of recognition for how utterly awful it is.
It'll get that from us in spades.
Yes, it will. Alright, I think we're ready to switch to our outro screen.
Good. I'm sick of sitting next to you recording this. You need a shower, and I need to be doing something not next to you. I'm not reading your lengthy outro. Walking away. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you all in the new year.
Aw, I was gonna give him a touching tribute. I wanted to tell him that he's the best co-op game partner. He's the one you want helming player 2 because you can always trust that he'll do a good job. Oh well, guess I'll end it. What did you think of all of those reviews? What did you think of our little award show? What were your best, worst, and okayest games of the year? Let us know in the comments. Oh, and before you enter the new year, be sure to subscribe. It's a great way to end your year, know your decade before charging into 2020, knowing you made the smart decision of subscribing. Thank you for watching, and Happy New Year.